is end over end. It is taken by Sanders. He's coming out. The 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. On his feet at midfield. 45, 40, and all the way down to the Packers' 35. There is a pulse. Goes back. He's setting up. He's hit. He fumbles the football, and the Eagles have it. The Eagles have it. On top of the football is Brandon Graham. Gives to Howard. Howard spins. He's in. Touchdown. Eagles regain the lead.
Too strong. Get your weight up.
Back. He pumps. He fires. It is intercepted on the deflection. Intercepted. Eagles have the ball. Nigel Bradham out across the 20, and this game is good as over.
What's happening, everybody? This is the Philly Experience Podcast alongside Chris Thacker, Tanner Martin, and Tyre Hood. I'm your host, Max James. It's great to be with you on this Tuesday, October 1st. Into the month of October. Eagles looking good. They bounced back with a W in Green Bay, and we look forward to the Jets this weekend. Hopefully going to be another win, and that would take them to 3-2. Hopefully, so we'll see what happens. Also, touch on a little Phillies talk. Season's over. Gabe Kapler, is he coming back? Is he not? We'll touch on that topic as well. But first, let's dive into the game right now. All right, big time win in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers played out of his mind, but still wasn't enough. They couldn't get the running game going, and we just made one more play. That pick in the end zone finally sealed the deal because, they had that drive going right down the field. The Packers did, and we expected them probably to get in there, get in the end zone and score. But Bradham makes a nice play there and get the W on the road.
Hey Tanner,
that was a great game.
Tanner, I need you to go to more games if that's what's going to happen.
I was about to.
In all seriousness,
I was about to say
sight.
before we get into it, I want to hear about your experience in Green Bay, buddy.
Oh man, Lambeau Field's so cool. It's definitely different from the Link. All bleacher seating, and it's right in the middle of just a neighborhood, so people are parking in front of people's houses and everything, charging $20 for them to park in front of their house.
What?
It's pretty interesting. One thing that I did notice was a lack of replays on the Jumbotron, but other than that, they welcomed the Eagles fans, most of them.
Did they?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you guys think? Is the season turning around now after this big win?
Well, first off, I gotta put something out there right now because all of us went into that game with Grim. We all was down. We all said there was no way in hell that we were gonna come out with that win. So I need to give us all one of these.
You big dummy.
Okay,
right.
you can't.
Thank you, Red Fox.
You can't blame us. They were going into Lambeau on a short week against Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
Okay, how can you not have doubts about that after losing to the Lions?
Yeah, but we made it sound like the season was going to be over, like it was going to be it, like we were going to get our hats blown off out there.
That's because we were one game away from going 1-3 instead of 2-2.
That's true.
And look at the Cowboys. They had the opportunity to go 4-0.
Exactly.
Ha! Sneaking Cowboys.
And Aaron Rodgers still went 34-53, 422 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He was only sacked once.
He was only sacked once.
Pressure.
Yes, that's what I need to see out of my dogs. Finally, the defensive line comes through. They do what they're supposed to do. Now, yes, we only got to Aaron Rodgers that one time on that Derek Barnett's strip set. But at the same time, the fact that we made Aaron Rodgers move out of the pocket instead of just standing there and having him all that time in the world, especially considering the fact that we only rushed with 4 D linemen, that was encouraging to see, seriously. And I finally got to see Fletcher Cox come through. Brandon Graham had a couple of good pressures. All-around good effort from the defensive line. Seriously.
Speaking of Derek Barnett, beginning of the game, he had a hit on, I forget who it was.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah, Jamal Williams.
Look, I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Do your research, man.
Whatever. Were you guys concerned about any, I know there was no punishment handed out, but were you guys worried about that?
It happened right in front of me. I saw it, and it was definitely unnecessary, and it should have been avoided.
I agree.
He just didn't hear the whistle.
Yeah, it's just one of those in the heat of the moment things.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. Sometimes you just don't straight up hear the whistle, and, as players, we're always taught that you have to play to the whistle. If you don't hear that whistle, keep playing. So I think it was one of those situations. I don't think it was any foul content behind that hit. So I'm glad he just got slapped with a fine. He's not suspended because, to be honest with you, we are still thin at defensive end. And outside of our starters, it's not really a whole lot.
Yeah, I agree. That was crazy to start the game. Yeah. Like right in the beginning, you're all excited. And then the second play or first play, whatever it was, and then something like that happens. which you never want to see.
When
but
a player's wrapped up, that's really not that necessary to go full force.
he was coming from the opposite way too. Like he came around Rodgers and then hit him,
Right.
blindsided basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's still, while yes, we did come out with the victory, we can't just sing kumbaya to this victory. There were still some concerns, like the simple fact that Aaron Rodgers still threw for over 350 yards in that game.
That first quarter was so concerning.
Not to mention the fact that Devontae Adams had a career high 180 yards receiving. That's a huge problem.
And it's like majority of the fourth quarter too.
Yes.
When an idiot like me can see that he's only throwing to him, like that's a problem.
Here's the sick part about it.
What?
It was when the Green Bay Packers were going on play action, going back looking at the tape. You should have seen how much real estate was wide open. I'm sorry, these linebackers are questionable for us too. There's a reason why, and we'll get into this trade to the trade details a little later. There's a reason why we went out and got a Duke Riley, dude. There was so much. I'm tired of these linebackers biting on the play action. You've got to be able to see that coming. First off, we're a pretty good run defense. All right? If everybody just stays disciplined in this defense, I feel as though we'll do a whole lot better in stopping having all these wide open passes. Receivers are able to catch these passes cleanly. No corners around, no safeties around, no linebackers around. Nobody is competing with them. Nobody is around the wide receiver or the football when a pass is going out. And I'm sick of it at this point.
All right, let's take a look at the offense from this standpoint. Jordan Howard finally breaks out this game, and he only had four more carries.
Yep.
So I think, I don't know if Wentz keyed on him because he did have that nice pass down the sidelines for that touchdown, that receiving touchdown. But he also had 2 nice carries in the goal line. Do you think he should be getting closer to 20 carries a game? Because he really was running the ball well. I don't know if that's just because the Packers' run defense is bad, or is this something we can look forward to?
They went into the game, they were in the 20-something percentile in terms of run defense. So that was the perfect strategy going in, was to go with the run game and take the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands in the pass game. We were not going to win if Carson Wentz was going to have to throw 30-plus passes. That was not going to go down like that. So the simple fact that Doug Peterson knew that, and he changed up the strategy, and he put the ball in Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders' hands, I think that was really excellent. Now, Chris.
Me.
Now, when that Miles Sanders kickoff return,
Yeah.
I said he might have just redeemed himself. You said, I don't know, slow down. The reason why I said that was because if the Eagles scored on that drive, which they did, he was going to be considered a hero. Because for real, think about it like this, like a paramedic trying to bring a guy back to life, shock them back to life. That was the shock back to life for the Eagles in that game. That play right there, that return. Okay. And that's what I meant when I said that.
Miles Sanders is an EMT.
Miles Sanders, well, I sat here on the show last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, and said that Miles Sanders is more talented. But hell, if they're going to run like that in tandem together, I think they should both continue to get, close to equal work. Jordan Howard down the goal line, especially maybe even in the red zone, he had a couple of big-time runs, 10-plus yards he broke off.
Yes, and Jordan Howard running, first off, I love...
He's just a tank.
Yes, I love those type of running backs. I don't particularly care for those running backs that like to juke around the line of scrimmage. I like dudes who's going to hit the hole, say, hey, I'm going up against you. Let's see who's going to win. And Jordan Howard was putting asses on the ground, and I love seeing that.
Too strong. Get your weight up.
I agree.
A Shady fan over there?
Max, what you said about Jordan Howard only getting 4 more, which is 15 carries against the Packers, he just seemed more effective, even though he only got 4 more carries.
Yeah, you saw from the start, he broke off the first handoff. He took it for like 19 yards down the sidelines.
It was like he had a mission this game, and he sure did prove himself.
And the holes were huge. The offensive line really did play well.
Yes, they did. And the incredible part is we had Dallas Goedert for the entire game. So you don't think of a second tight end as a really important factor in your game. But the fact that Dallas Goedert was in there and he was able to provide those extra blocks that we needed to open up those holes. Like there was a couple of times where they would use him in motion after the snap, and it would be called a wham block. You let the defensive lineman come in and wham, you smack him, stop him dead in his tracks, and that creates that hole up the middle. So seeing that, man, that was encouraging to see, and we need to see more of that.
What do you guys make of the offensive and defensive pass interference calls in this game, especially? I just remember the touchdown to Alshon in the very beginning. They called it, and it didn't even look like he did anything.
No.
Just created separation. I feel like the defenders, you got 5 yards, obviously, to make contact with them and get them off the line.
Right.
But after that, I still see D-backs got their hands all over, receivers, and when the receivers go to, basically, use their hands to basically chop their arms off and get them off of themselves,
Well,
they get called for it.
Ultimately, it kind of sort of depends on the referees that you have. You know what? It was really egregious how many offensive pass interference I see, not just in the Green Bay Eagles game, but throughout the entire NFL this week. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then there were some times where it looked like the receiver was just doing a swing move on a corner, and I'm just like, that's not offensive pass interference. He's just moving out of his way so that he doesn't shove into him and push him to the ground. He's making a football move. I don't understand. I don't even understand what offensive and defensive pass interference
half the
is.
time a sack is roughing the passer. So that's
but that's because they put tutus on these quarterbacks now. So that's the reason why.
I know, but I'm just saying this is the same league where half the time a sack is roughing the passer.
There was times that there were calls offensive pass interference. Dude, that wasn't offensive pass interference. He was just making a football move. What the is that? Seriously.
All right, let's take a look at this upcoming week against the Jets at home. This is a telling week for me from a defensive standpoint, because if the secondary can't shut down Luke Falk, who's a third-string quarterback, then we have some serious issues.
Yeah, but I'm still not comfortable going into the game with. Now, don't get me wrong. Rasul Douglas, I think, is a solid number 2 corner. I think he should stay there.
I wanted to bring that up.
He's been playing, some really good football these past couple weeks. But I don't feel comfortable going into a game with Rasul Douglas, Orlando Scandrick, and Craig James. Which, by the way, dude, I got to say, that was a hell of a play. All right? Going in, that ball was going right towards you. Even at pre-snap, Aaron Rodgers looked at him twice, and I was like, oh, my God, he's going to go right to him. I said, oh, my gosh, this game is going to be tied. The fact that he was able to play press coverage on that receiver and not only knock the ball up enough for Nigel Bradham to get that interception, that smothering coverage, that was beautiful. You couldn't have asked for anything better for somebody who was on the practice squad coming off the bench cold in one play and making the game-winning play. Mm-hmm. Seriously, that was impressive.
Now, you were talking about Folk. Sam Darnold plans on playing Week 5, but if he doesn't, are you worried about quarterback at all? Either Sam Darnold or anybody? Does Sam Darnold put fear in you?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I think Sam Darnold is going to continue to progress, as the season goes on and as his career goes on. But again, listen, we watched the Lions game, expected them to win, and then we watched the Packers game, expecting to lose. So at this point, this team, you want to get on the. It's like the Phils, this season, you want to get on the bandwagon, and then they're going to lose, they want to hop off. So you go back and forth. But this week, the Jets at home, it has to be a W. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sitting here and saying this is going to be a blowout. I wouldn't be surprised if we give up 27 to the Jets, because that's just how bad our secondary is.
And that's the thing. This is still a secondary that gave up 380 yards to Case Keenum, who got benched.
You still got to focus on Le'Veon Bell, even though our rushing defense is pretty solid. We shut down Aaron Jones last week. And the Packers, that really made them one-dimensional and helped us out, because we basically knew, especially as the game went on, they needed a throw, because they would tie it, but we would take the lead back, and then they would keep coming back, but they weren't able to take that lead finally, which kept us ahead.
And one more thing about the defense. I've been very critical of Jim Schwartz, as y'all know. I don't particularly care for the scheme. I don't particularly care for the way he calls plays. And I don't particularly care for how he game plans for games, because I feel like he goes in with the same strategy just about every week. But I got to say, he called some heck of plays on Thursday. He did. I got to give him credit for that. I will give credit to where credit is due, when it's fair. He called a hell of a game. The only thing that still concerns me is that when they call that all out a cover zero blitz, and I feel like he calls it at the wrong time. You don't call cover zero against Aaron. First off, you don't call cover zero against Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, you don't call cover zero when your corners can't cover their mouths when they cough. And then you don't call cover zero consistently to the point where the quarterback knows that it's coming. And you don't disguise it at all.
Well, here's the problem. I think our passing defense is probably the worst in football. And yeah, I'm factoring in the Dolphins and the Nat, or not the Nats, Washington, factoring in the Redskins as well. So
Man, that's ludicrous.
You do anything you can really to stop the opposing team. And if you for example, they leave Avonte Maddox on an island with Adams all game
Which
long.
was horrible. He was making him turn his head around.
Maddox was playing about 20 yards off of Adams.
And was still getting juked out of his shoes.
Yeah, and would just continue to get blown by. So stuff like that. I mean, there's only one Devontae Adams out there, so we're not going to run into that every single week.
Ridiculous.
But again, we've already played Julio this year. We've already played Adams this year. We got Cooper twice still.
Mm-hmm.
And the Giants, I know Daniel Jones. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of them yet, but hell, they're 2-2. I know they haven't won against two tough opponents. I mean, they did beat Tampa Bay, who just went on the road and beat the Rams.
Dude, that was a surprising.
So they did give up 55. The Rams give up 55 to the Bucs. But again, relating this back to the NFC East, the Giants, another team. Are they 2-2? So they're 2-2 right now, right?
Right.
That's a record.
Mm.
Are they going to be able to finish around 8-8? Or we haven't seen enough yet of Daniel Jones.
Agreed.
Get Golden Tate back this week, who should be beneficial for them. They already have Evan Ingram there. Sterling Shepard looks healthy. He came off another 7-catch week last week against the Redskins. So there's two teams you have to watch out for in this division. I know the Cowboys had tough. Again, another boring game, 12-10 over the weekend.
You call that boring. I'll call that awesome defense.
I was satisfied at the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's what matters, right?
I agree.
But again, the Cowboys finally play a tough opponent. Again, primetime on the road in New Orleans, one of the toughest places to play, and only put up 10 points. And it was a Saints defense that, again, wasn't
They're not that good.
Crazy
they're not
talented.
ranked. Yeah, they're not ranked that high.
But
pass defense.
Marshawn Lattimore did shut down Amari
He
Cooper.
did.
And Z couldn't get going. Yeah,
they stopped that run. They made them one-dimensional. They forced Dak to throw the football, and that's exactly how you need to beat the Cowboys.
Couple of key. I mean, Witten fumbling. Usually, just a veteran guy, short hands. I mean, they were moving down the field. That was around midfield. He gets the ball punched out. They go down and score. Zeke fumbles. They're going down the field on the drive. I mean, so big plays like that really determined that game because again, they only lost by 2. They could have easily kicked the field goal somewhere along the lines there.
Oh, I agree easily, but relating this, back to the Eagles, but I think this is all the more reason why Howie Roseman needs to find one corner. Even if it's not Jalen Ramsey at this point. Another guy that I've been paying attention to is Xavier Howard from the Miami Dolphins. 6'1", 202. He's not a flashy corner. He's not a well-known corner. He's not a big-name corner. But he's the corner that we would need for this defense right now. Considering the fact that everybody in Miami wants out, I would consider kicking the tires with Miami if you can't get nothing done with Jalen Ramsey or maybe even Chris Harris.
Well, Ramsey's really pulled out every excuse in the book. I mean, sore back, and then his girlfriend has a kid.
Well,
so he's away from
the
That's
kid,
not. No, I get it. But again,
he
he could have played yesterday. Is my point. The reason he did not play on Sunday was because of his back, not because of the birth
You're
of his
always
child.
on your back.
Yeah.
His back injury was the reason he didn't play. It wasn't because of the birth of his child. James White, for example, last week missed it because of the birth of his child.
Right.
Excuse.
The back is another. I don't know. Basically, it comes down to this: he wants out. They don't want to trade him. People have already offered him 2 first-round picks.
And I think we are. And I think the Eagles were.
They
one
turned
of
it
those
down.
teams.
They're not going to get rid of him.
And that's why I think at this point you need to move on. You need to find some corner. I'm sorry, like I said, you can't continue during these weeks going into these games with Craig James, Orlando Scandrick, and Russell
I
Douglas.
do agree with you. I think we do. Again, I was saying this to give up so much for Ramsey because even if I think we get him, I don't think we're a contender for the Super Bowl because just how bad our defense is in general, giving up so many points.
See,
but any help matters. Any help we can get.
You just prerequisites include healthy back and no children.
Jesus.
Hey, at least he'll be on the field. I mean, he didn't get on the field for his team.
I'm joking.
You're always on your back.
But to counter what you said about one player not making a difference, last year the Raiders traded Mack to Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears. Look how much of a dominant defense they have become.
They already had a dominant defense.
They already had a dominant defense, but Khalil Mack made it. First off, they're corners for real. They're average corners. All right. But the fact that they were able to add Khalil Mack to that already dominant defensive line, like that just made all the difference in the world.
Well, they had good cover corners. They had Roquan Smith, a couple of solid linebackers
They
there.
do.
They had Akeem Hicks right in the middle of nose tackle. They really needed a pass rusher. They got the best one in the league. That completes everything. We don't have good linebackers. All right, and Bradham's the only exception. We don't have good
that's
cover
iffy.
corners. We don't have good cover corners. Nobody. Maybe Rasul Douglas, maybe if you want to throw him in there. But please give me a break with that.
But that's the reason why we need to go out. Even if we don't get the top corner, like I said, we need.
But your example that you used was Khalil Mack. They were one superstar pass rusher away
But
from
I'm
becoming
saying-
that. We
but
are
I-
multiple away.
But I said that only to show that a player can make a difference, no matter.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
Now, yes, he's a
Wins
huge superstar, but a player trade can make a difference. I mean, even look at when the Dallas Cowboys traded for Amari Cooper, how much that offense blew up.
Well,
just with
think
one
of it this way:
receiver.
if we get Jalen Ramsey, we're still going to have Rodney McLeod that can't tackle. We're still going to have Maddox that can't cover. We're still going to have two linebackers. I mean, we got rid of LJ4 because he sucked, right? We got Bradham. That's really our only guy. And we got nobody to rush the passer. We got literally one sack on Rodgers. And the Green Bay offensive line, on paper at least, isn't really that great. We just couldn't get to him. Barnett hasn't taken the step forward we thought he would through the first 4 weeks of the season. We don't have Chris Long anymore. Brandon Graham just can't get there. He just simply can't get to the quarterback anymore.
I think for the most part, the fact that they only have one sack against Rodgers, I think that's the fact that's scheme at that point.
Fletcher Cox looks hurt. He used to get sacks right up the middle. He used to bulldoze over whoever the
But you
center
also
was.
got to understand that they know Fletcher Cox is the best defensive lineman that we have. So what do you? So
Well, if they double him, then you got one-on-one on the outside.
Correct.
You guys got to get there.
and that's when you need to start putting pressure on the guys, not Fletcher Cox. Now Fletcher Cox, I think, even though he didn't really show up in the stats wise, he still had a pretty good game because you would still see him, shooting up the middle. And
He didn't have his
stopping run
worst
plays.
game of the year. I'll give him that. But again, I think he only has about How many tackles? 6 tackles.
So generous.
Dude, as a defensive tackle, are you kidding me? 6 tackles is that's a heck of a game.
I don't think I wasn't talking about the game. I thought I was talking about I think it's a season.
No, we talking about 6 tackles. In the
I can
season.
look it up.
That's a problem.
Sheesh.
That's a huge problem.
Because he just hasn't looked himself, and they can't get to the quarterback. They just can't. We've played multiple offensive lines that aren't. I mean, look at Washington week 1. Give 27 points, and that offensive line is terrible.
Well, we did not rush Case Keenum that game, which was horrible. But it's both things now. It's not just one thing. It's the secondary and it's the lack of a pass rush, and that's the sickening part. Like the one thing that we need to have consistent is a pass rush, because at least if you have a pass rush, you can get away with having a bad secondary because you can at least get to the quarterback and mess up his throwing cadences. But if you can't get to the quarterback and you can't cover, you're just a horrible defense. But I think that's also considering the fact that those defensive linemen, they rush through the same gaps every single time. It's not all the time that I'm able to see them, perform stunts up the middle or, twists with just the 4 linemen. They just keep rushing through the same hole each and every single time. And, what do you think is going to keep happening? Like, you kind of need to switch it up a little bit. Sometimes move your linemen to the A gap. Have them shoot up the A gap instead of, always shooting through the B and C gap all the times.
Listen, here's the problem. Here's what I'm saying. Here's the problem. We got the Jets this week at home, but then after that, we got Minnesota on the road, Dallas on the road, Buffalo on the road, and then we got Chicago at home with that defense before our bye week.
Yeah.
So these are going to be tough matchups. The easier part of our schedule, besides Lambeau, obviously, is probably done. I mean, we still have the Giants twice, but we got a big-time tough test coming up these next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep.
And then don't forget, we still got to play the Patriots after our bye as well.
Just to confirm Fletcher Cox's stats, 5 tackles for the year.
Wow.
0 sacks. And no forced fumbles either.
Yeah, that's because he's getting double teamed. But that
It
needs
used to not
change.
matter. He used to just dominate 2 guys.
Yeah, but you can't.
you've seen it.
I've seen it, but you can't rely on one guy to keep dominating 2 guys.
Please, come on. Fletcher Cox is a superstar. He has to play better. He has to play better.
There are 2
All right.
pass rushers I would say are better than him in this whole league.
Really?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald.
That's not.
That's
Well, yeah, but they play 2 totally different positions.
I know.
Not Aaron Donald.
Not Aaron Donald.
No, not Aaron Donald, but I was talking
Still
about
pass
Mac. I was
rushers.
talking about Mac and Donald. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Yeah.
I get you 100% because I agree with you. I think that Fletcher Cox needs to play better football.
I
He's getting paid $17 million a year.
You gotta keep
You
in
understand
mind,
what I'm
Max.
saying to you?
Yeah, I do, Max.
$17 million a year he's getting paid, and he's got 5 tackles in how many games? 4?
Yes, he does need to play better, but at the same time, it's also a team sport, and everybody else in that line needs to step up as well.
I agree. Barnett needs to step up. Brandon Graham, I don't expect anything. I think I've seen the last of him.
The thing
If he gets a tackle anymore, I'm like, wow, okay.
Like, the sick part about Brandon Graham is he'll have one flashy play where he'll just blow a play up, and I'm like, Dad, he's back. And then I'll look again, and I'm like, dude,
I'm sick of Brandon Graham, actually. I'm starting to get
So
frustrated.
Max, we should have kept Michael Bennett instead.
Yeah.
I was about to say, did you guys kind of?
I do agree.
Oh, I said
wish
that from the beginning.
Well, I know you did. But
I love Brandon
we
Graham as a
even-
person.
yeah,
He's a
excellent
great guy. But again, he's getting all like hyped up in the locker room after the game. Like, bro, you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything to help us win this game. And he's still got like that outgoing personality, which is great and all.
had 3
But he's
tackles.
shot, and we gave him a 3-year contract with I don't know how much millions of dollars we gave him. I'm going to assume maybe like 30 to 40 million.
Yeah, I forget the details of that
The
contract.
point is,
list.
he's getting overpaid as hell to not do anything.
And now on that point, I do agree with you.
And
with
Peters is getting paid $13 million to really just let the defensive end run right past him.
I've said that. I've already admitted that. I think Jason Peters is done. I think we've seen the end of him, and I think they need to start
Here's the
working
frustrating
Andre
part.
Dillard in.
Here's the frustrating part. If we just took those 2 contracts, right? Take Graham away, take Peters away. You got Dillard. You could easily take. That's like how much money there. You got about like $25 million there. Go out and get yourself a pass rusher. All right, put Dillard in a left tackle. Go out. Maybe you're able to fill a hole at the pass rusher position. You're able to fill a hole at a corner. I'm not talking about a superstar, but I'm talking about somebody that can actually get the job done.
Yep.
And look, it shears up your whole defense.
The only thing with Dillard is the fact that you want to put a rookie in to arguably a Super Bowl contender team with nobody to really help him or
I'm
guide
fine.
him.
He's a first-round pick, an offensive lineman. I'll take that any day of the week.
That's true, but it wasn't Eric Flowers also a first-round pick too?
Yeah,
and
but
he stinks.
Yeah, he's really
He
bad.
is horrible.
But yeah, I get it. That's only one example, though. I feel like if you give Dillard more opportunities, which I think he should get. I mean, Peters, you can't be playing the whole game with him now.
Yeah, I
and that's
agree.
what they've been doing.
Now that I agree with.
He needs to get out there and especially get some reps because he's the future right there at left tackle.
I think it's time that you need to start shifting towards Andre Dillard because yes, now I'm seeing Jason Peters getting beat on moves that I would never dream of him getting.
It's just a
getting
couple
beat
of
on.
really bad contracts. Howie Roseman, and I never say anything bad about Howie, but just a couple of really, really, really bad contracts.
And I think that's the result of what I said in earlier episodes. I said you're paying loyalty over production.
It's like what the Phillies did with Utley, Howard, and Rollins.
Right.
They paid them for what they did and not what they're going to do.
Right, and you kept guys for a little too long than they were supposed to. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I would have been perfectly fine with the Eagles letting go of Brandon Graham. As crazy as it sounds.
We could have easily went out and traded for Jadeveon Clowney. I wish we really did because he's
Don't
just a
remind me.
difference maker.
Don't remind me.
I don't.
Jeez.
And honestly, it's not my money, so I'm not going to sit here and say don't get
It's an
Jalen Ramsey.
outrage.
I just think giving up maybe Aguilar and 2 first-rounders may be a little too much. But I mean, he is the best corner in the league.
I mean,
Right.
and I do agree with you. So really, we can add 2 things to the list that we need. We need at least not necessarily a top end shutdown corner, but a corner just to add to the depth and to compete for that outside position.
Mm-hmm.
And we also need another pass rusher because let's be honest, Vinny Curry really isn't doing anything either. Now, all you guys, I think it was you, Max, that was really big on Vinny Curry coming back.
I was big on him.
And he's not really doing anything.
Yeah, it surprised
And I
me because he's
said
run the
that.
same scheme. He's run the same scheme he did, and I don't know what
effective.
Tampa Bay put in his water.
It's stupid.
But he ain't playing the same way. He came back to Philly. He's not playing like he used to back in 2017.
Let's jump back on. Sorry, Chris. You guys.
No.
I just
I don't
want
have
to jump
anything
back
of value
onto
to
the
say.
other side of football and talk offense. Now, Aguilar wasn't used really at all against Green Bay after his game with multiple dropped games against the Lions. Do you think there was a message?
How many targets did he get?
Before I answer that, I got a question for you. How many targets do y'all think Nelson Aguilar had in that game?
1.
Very good.
And I saw. Yeah, he was heavily covered on that too, wasn't he?
He was okay covered.
Okay.
He was okay covered. I think Carson Wentz overthrew that ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But the fact that they never went back to him and they never called any plays designed for Nelson Aguilar to catch the football, I think that's saying something. And that's saying something
I'm a
really
Nelson
bad.
Aguilar fan. I think he's a good player. So
I think that's what he need. I think he needs to be either not benched, but just like shown and like that you need to improve yourself, like they did 2 seasons ago, where they benched him, and then when he came back, he knew he had to prove himself.
I mean,
He played really well.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, that's true. And it's crazy because I figured he would be, playing his ass off because you're in the last year of your contract. And to be honest with you, that's another guy I don't think I would have brought back. Honestly, I would not have picked up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, again,
I
that's
wouldn't
another good point. $9 million. And what he's done, basically, I'm not going to say he cost us the Falcons game, but a big-time drop.
I'd say
Yeah.
he
And
cost us a couple games already. Yep.
And,
You could make that argument. Yeah, you could.
and without, putting into the factor of his play, you can just put into the fact that of how we play offense. We run 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. We always have Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz out there now with Alshon Jeffrey and when Deshaun Jackson comes back. So for real,
Can't wait for him to come back.
Yes. So for real, you really don't. It's really not necessary for you to have a slot receiver anymore, and that's why I think Nelson Aguilar's value really deteriorates in this offense. And it doesn't help the fact that he keeps dropping these passes.
I agree. And again, I think he's a talented player, but inconsistent. And if we can go out and get a superstar like Ramsey, I'd throw him into the bag of tricks there. Throw him into the hat and see
Now, how
what
ridiculous?
sticks. Just throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. What are they going to accept?
How ridiculous are these trade rumors about giving Zach Ertz to the Jaguars
What?
for Jalen Ramsey?
I've
I saw
seen
this
those-
a couple times, and that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
If we give Zach Ertz away, see
I
you
want
season.
9
I-
first-rounders.
Really? Why would we give Zach Ertz away at all? That's ridiculous.
Everybody who keeps saying that, I'm gonna need y'all to
Oh,
shut
we
up.
have,
I'm gonna
we
need
have
y'all to.
Dallas got No, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry,
agree.
but everybody that's saying that, I need y'all to shut up for life. All right, shut up for life. Okay.
There's a sound drop.
I am not giving away my best and arguably top 3 tight end in the NFL. It's not happening.
Yeah, no.
No, I agree
Not
with
a
you.
chance.
I just, I hope this team is able to just take care of business this week against the Jets. And then after that, if they could struggle, man. They get these games on the road. The Bills just basically had a shot to beat the Patriots, and that's just something I want to bring up real quick.
They impressed the hell
If
out of me.
Josh Allen stays in that game, they could have won, and they just basically flat out injured him. I'm not going to say it was on purpose, but it damn looked like it was. I mean, almost like that Vontaze Burfict hit where he just came in and speared the guy right in the helmet.
Yeah, that was now that hit was an unnecessary hit.
He's
glad
done,
he's out.
He's
the
done
league.
for the season.
I'm glad.
I don't like.
That's disgusting.
Can he come back and play longer than the next season or however long his contract goes for? Do you think a team's gonna take a player like him?
Yeah, I think they can be just based on the fact of how talented he is.
That's the
Right.
thing. Somebody's gonna take him because somebody's gonna think that they can mold him and they can fix him. But he has a track record of these
He's so
dirty,
talented.
Can you
nasty
afford him
hits.
being out half the season just to have him for a couple of games
Right.
until he gets suspended?
I mean,
again?
hell, you win any way you can. Look at the Patriots. They picked up AB for one game. They got a W out of
Well,
it.
that was
The Cowboys would be another team that would do that. But
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of dummies because something's wrong with AB mentally wise. I'm sorry, my man's went
you
on.
could blame that hit.
Yeah,
that
just you wanna win.
Perfect gave him
Any
last
way,
season.
right, Chris? Any way you can. Just pick up AB real quick for a week. Give me a W.
My man-
I need a
That'd
stud
be
receiver for a
ridiculous.
week. You know,
Just as long as you don't have kids.
like we got to go to New England, and they probably will beat us. But you know what? If we pick up AB for a week, you never know.
Yeah, but my man's went
I'm
on.
not picking up
My man's
Antonio
went back.
Brown.
He went back to school. Went on Twitter.
I'm only
and-
messing, Chris.
Dude, and who seen that tweet that Antonio Brown put out there about his English paper?
No, I don't pay
What?
attention to him anymore.
Dude,
He's irrelevant. Did you see what he got
When
into
he
with
was
Eric Weddle?
arguing with Baker Mayfield and Eric Weddle, it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
You're not
now when
playing
you-
in any NFL game.
exactly.
Just
Now
relax.
you arguing with Eric. Come on, man. He's a clown. At this point, he's irrelevant. He really needs to just fade the black.
Now, who knows what will happen before that Patriots game? Tom Brady could be out. A bunch of things could happen before that Patriots game. So let's just focus on this next Jets matchup and see what we have in front of us.
Are you guys really concerned about this Jets game?
I'm not.
I'm concerned.
I know
should
you
be
are.
concerned.
I'm not
'Cause
overly
we shouldn't
concerned, but I
overlook
am.
it.
No, we shouldn't. And
Who's gonna stop Le'Veon Bell?
I don't
See, on that note, we have been doing excellent in
Against the run
stopping
game.
runs.
You say that
Stopping
now,
runs.
but just wait.
I wanted to bring this up earlier, but what did you think of Josh Sweat?
Uh,
I mean, he had that one play where he
He had one
picked
play.
up Aaron
He had
Jones.
Yeah, that one play, remember?
There's flashes of him, but he's not doing it consistent enough.
I'm just saying because
I don't think he gets
who
consistent
else
opportunities.
do we have under the starting string?
Well, I think he's a rotation guy.
Yeah, I
he
know.
don't start, but he's.
No, I'm saying under the starting guys.
No, it's-
who do you have?
Well, what
'Cause
about
he's-
that?
It's just Vinny Curry, Josh Sweat, and
Do we still have Deshaun Hall?
Yeah, and Deshaun Hall, and that's another thing
still
too.
hasn't gotten an opportunity.
And that's another thing too, man. Give Deshaun Hall a shot. You're not getting that much pressure. You're not really getting sacked. Give Deshaun Hall a shot.
I'd cut Brandon Graham right now.
Whoa.
Save
Yeah.
money.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh man.
Why not, man?
It's unusual
No.
hearing you
What
say
has
that.
he? What has he given
With
you
the
that
Red
makes
Sox
you want
hat
him to
on.
stay
No,
here?
just send him to Jacksonville.
Trade him too.
There-
Hell,
now-
somebody will pick out that
Now
money.
that is an option. Crazy as
Get
it
that
sounds.
money off the books somehow because he's not going to give you any production.
That's true. That's true. But I'm not gonna outright cut him and release him. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's
I'll trade him.
Save
first.
some money,
Not
I'll tell you
a
that.
I'll trade him.
I can
first.
just see Howie Roseman just putting together a PowerPoint. This is why you should take Brandon Graham and give us Jalen Ramsey. He won the Super
Package
Bowl
deal,
for us.
Brandon Graham, Aguilar, 2 first-rounders for Jalen Ramsey. Then in the next draft, our first-round pick next year has to be a corner.
I mean, you do make
has
a
to
good point,
be, right?
T.
Right?
Dude,
Even
it
if we
has
say
to
we
be a
get
corner.
Jalen Ramsey, do we still need to draft another corner?
Yes.
I don't
agree.
think you
Yes.
can ever have too many.
Yes.
Anyway.
you need to draft.
You need
one.
a
I mean, you do
corner
make
and
a
a
good
pass rusher.
point. When you look at this draft history, it's not that stellar. So
No.
maybe, I mean, I'm stingy with draft picks with all sports.
See, you're stingy with draft picks because you see the value in them. You see the potential that could come out of them.
Yeah.
That's true. The problem with the Eagles is they have not used that value too much effectively.
I know.
Let me give you an example. All right. I'm sick of this team drafting potential. Just take studs. All right. Here's an example. Josh Jacobs, pick 24. You just knew he was going to be a tank at the front of running back position. People don't want to take running backs in their first round, like this and that. I don't care. The guy is a stud. Take him, plug him in. You got him for like 8 to 10 years. Flat out.
I mean,
that's it. That's it. Yo, don't be drafting guys.
I wanted an offensive lineman in the draft.
Yeah. We needed to draft
I'm just,
Andre.
yeah,
Dillon.
no. I like the pick
And
a lot,
I'm cool with Miles.
especially because Peters now is horrible.
I'm
No, don't sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat it, T. You watch the film, you see how slow he is. People running right by him, sacking the hell out of Wentz.
I mean, Mr. Red Sox fan isn't wrong. I'm sorry. It just looks
Brutal.
weird. It just looks weird.
I hate you, Chris.
Yeah. Maybe that means it's time to switch to baseball.
Oh, gosh. Do we have to?
Okay.
I mean,
we
our
do.
team's just because our team's not in the
The
postseason
Philadelphia
doesn't mean-
Phillies have officially been, well, a while ago.
I got a real quick before
They
you
are
guys
officially
get started.
finished with the.
Before you guys get started, I got a problem.
What? Fine. What is it?
Why is it that it's been 2 days since?
Quit yucking our yum.
Really? I keep telling you about saying the dog want drops before I play them. Anyway, it's a problem where it's been 2 days at this point, and Gabe Kapler is still allegedly a manager on the Phillies. I need him going at this point. Why have I not received an alert at this point? I'm sick of
That's
this.
a good point because Joe Madden has already been fired.
Right.
So
what's the deal?
Oh, come on.
I like the fact that they're taking their time with this
Yeah.
because there really isn't
What's the hurry?
There really isn't one singular candidate you can point to. I think Madden's already gone to the
Okay.
Angels, by the way. They fired Brad Ausmus. I think Madden's a lock to go there.
Yeah. So the season is over, gentlemen. What the hell? Is
Yeah,
that?
and then so tonight we see the Brewers and the Nationals play. Wednesday, the Rays and the Athletics in the wild card games.
That-
Who do you
Max
guys-
Scherzer tonight.
Who do you guys think's coming out?
I think the Nats are going to win tonight.
Yeah, the Nats.
Scherzer's pitching, and I'm rooting for the Brew Crew, obviously, because I hate the Nats. But Scherzer's dominant. You got to respect the man.
But Scherzer has a track record of not performing in the playoffs.
yeah,
the way
but it's
he
Scherzer.
performs.
I mean, you can't.
It's
bet
hard
against
to.
him. Are you
It's
gonna
hard to bet against him.
Go
No.
bet against him.
No,
bet
it's-
against him.
it's-
I want you to bet against him. Bet against him.
I don't bet money because I don't win any money, and I certainly don't like losing money.
All right, Tampa Bay
Man, that's
heads to
ludicrous.
Oakland tomorrow. These wildcard games are just so exciting. I mean, just postseason baseball is just a different atmosphere.
Right,
You know,
they're playing. Whoever wins plays two different teams 2 days in a row.
So what do you think? Tampa Bay and Oakland. Who you got?
I think I'd like to see Oakland.
It's in
Yes.
Oakland.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
rooting for
see
Tampa
Oakland.
Bay on the
You're
other
rooting for
hand.
Tampa?
I like Tampa.
Well, you've
I've
been
there.
there, yeah.
So
Well,
I
we're
like
watching
Tampa.
Moneyball right now in class, so it'd be cool to see the A's.
There you go.
Billy Bean.
Now, again, the winner of this Brewers-Nats game tonight heads to L.A., play the Dodgers. Now, again, it's in Nats Park, so they're going to have to fly across the country. I would love to see a Nats versus Dodgers series just because of the pitching matchups. And
That would be a
that
crazy
would be
series.
fun. I'm rooting for the Brewers because I think it's unfair that Christian. I mean, they still made the playoffs even if Yelich got hurt, and because Yelich got hurt, I expected the Brewers to fall short of the playoffs, and somehow they made it in, and pretty convincingly too. So tonight is going to be a fun game to watch. I like National League ball, and then tomorrow night I expect a lot of home runs.
And whoever wins that goes against Houston. So
And Houston and Oakland, man, they've had their battles this season. You know, Oakland does
They
not
have.
back down from
No.
Houston. They do not back down. Now, Tampa and then Houston, I just don't know if Tampa has the pitching in order to stick with. I get it. You know, they got a couple arms. Blake
Aside-
Snell, Charlie Morton.
I was about to say, aside from Blake Snell and Charlie Morton, I can't name anyone else.
and
who
then
are
you got to
starting
go
in
up against
rotation.
Verlander, and you got to go up against Cole. I mean, geez, Greinke.
You
I
understand
mean,
what I'm saying to you?
it's just not. It's not looking good for any AL team. But again, the Yankees are still there. You can't get and the Twins. That series is going to be great too. You watching the Twins Yankee series?
You know what?
just watch one game. All I want you to do is watch one game.
You know, I might. That might pique my interest.
That's
a little bit.
one
I
game.
might have to slide over, and watch some playoff baseball, even though the Phillies aren't in.
I'm telling you, take a look at it. It's really entertaining. Chris, tell them it's entertaining.
I might.
Hey, it's entertaining.
I might have to put the laptop down. Stop looking at
teams-
all 22 film.
Hell, we're not
number
saying
one-
sit through all 9 innings. We know it's hard. I'm just saying check it here and there, tune in. Maybe you're writing a paper. You got it in the background. You know,
Hey, there's another sound drop.
it's just a whole different atmosphere. You know, every
yes,
pitch you're just
yes.
on the edge of your seat.
That's team number 1 and 2 in total home runs. So.
And if you like then you start thinking like it's not just this game's boring as hell. You know, for example, if the game's nothing in the 8th, you start thinking like as a manager, like, are you bringing in what reliever are you bringing in? Are you bringing in the lefty? Are you bringing in the righty? You know, what are the stats? It's just a chess match.
Sounds like a nice problem to have.
Here's what I'm saying. This would be great for you. Watch these games and watch the managerial decisions and tell me and look at what decisions work. Because this is what managers do. They're built for postseason games.
I agree.
Because every decision they make, it's playoff time.
Yeah.
It's key time. If you make the wrong one, you know, this is the difference between winners and losers.
I completely agree.
That's why they get paid the big bucks. You don't see it in the regular season because hell, for Astros, for example, they just throw out freaking Greinke every night, Verlander, and they get that lineup stacked, and they're playing the Mariners at like 10 o'clock at night on the way. No one cares. Then you start watching these playoff games, and you realize, man, all right, AJ Hint's got some decisions to make. Is he going to make the right ones? And so far, he's got a ring. So, you know, that's why they get paid the money.
So who you
I
got?
want winners.
Who you got in the NL and the AL? AL.
You know me, I always try to go outside the box. So I don't know if I want to go with the Dodgers. To me,
It's hard not to pick the Dodgers.
it's just
Yeah, I was
it's
about to
really
say.
is hard not to. But I'm not going to pick the Dodgers to come out of the NL. I think if the Nats can win tonight and get to play the Dodgers, I think they have a legit shot because of the pitching that they have. Strasburg, Corbin, and Scherzer. Those 3 horses right there. Pitching carries you. If I had to pick a team, a complete team right now to go all the way to the World Series from the National League, I might have to pick the Cardinals because they're just so complete. They're well coached. I think if I'm going to pick run right now, I'm going to go with Nats Cardinals. I'll go with the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I'll go Cardinals to come out.
And then American League.
I think we're going to see the Yankees go all the way.
Really?
All the like winning it all.
American League, I have to go with the Astros. I just have to,
I'm
man.
about to say it's hard to go up against Houston, man. I understand your position on the Yankees, but it's really hard
the
to go against
Yankees.
I like the Yankees. I'm rooting for the Yankees to get to the.
I don't like the Yankees. I'm just saying that's what we're gonna see.
all right.
Yeah, I'm not on the same boat as you, Max.
Wait a second.
Mr. Yankees.
Everyone.
Tomorrow.
It's funny to me. Everyone. I want to put this into perspective. I've never seen someone wearing a Red Sox hat goes, "Oh, you don't like the Yankees?"
Yeah, it goes good. It goes good with the outfit. Come
I'm
on.
sorry. I just like poking fun
It's
at you.
an
man,
outrage.
because-
Tomorrow he'll be wearing.
These
the
are
Yankees
sports fans in this room. I'm a sports fan. I love sports
Okay,
in general.
I get it.
All right. You
It's
ever been to
just-
Fenway, Chris? I bet you haven't.
No,
Yeah.
I want
So
to.
I don't want to hear a
I
peep.
want to go to Fenway one day. when the
Sure,
Phillies
he's got
are
an Aaron Judge
pissed off.
poster in his room and everything.
Who, him or me?
Max.
Yeah.
I actually have a Kentucky
Pete Alonso.
basketball poster.
Yeah, but I gotta say this though. There's certain boundaries you just don't cross. Like you're not gonna ever see me
hat?
in a Cowboys
Yeah,
anything.
not a chance. I don't even play the Cowboys in Madden. I don't use that.
Yo,
as a team.
why do you guys hate the Cowboys so much?
Because it's in our blood.
Dude, it's just they're a good
That
team
was
though.
actually a crazy question.
They're a good football team. They're fun to watch. Zeke, Amari Cooper,
that's ludicrous.
This is
Dak's
ridiculous
playing
right
well
now.
this
Does he
year.
know he's saying this for no reason?
Right. Are you
All right.
kidding me right now?
I'm not
That's
going
crazy.
to say. I'm just a fan of the
absolutely crazy.
sport in general. When
Since
I
we
see
were born,
good,
we were raised to hate the Cowboys.
Yes.
when I see good teams, good football, when I see good baseball, good players in general, that's just I like to watch it. The Cowboys are good this year. They're fun to watch.
You make me sick.
I'm not sitting here saying, oh, when the Cowboys come to Philly, I'm rooting for the Cowboys to beat the Eagles. I'm just saying
This man's gonna throw a Cowboys parade.
the Cowboys are a fun team to watch.
One thing I came across a couple days ago, back to baseball,
Yeah, please.
was
Yes.
9 of 10 of the biggest MLB
digging
contracts
himself
are
a
not
hole.
going to the playoffs.
9 of the 10?
Yeah, the
Who are those
only one
players?
is Stanton, and he barely plays. But Trout, Harper, Stanton, Machado, Cabrera, and it just goes. You know that.
Man, oh man, wow. Who you got going to the World Series? Oh, I know Yankees.
I already said that's
What
why
about-
we went in this whole thing.
National League. Who's going to put up a fight against the Yankees?
I don't know.
To me-
I guess I'll go with what Max said.
To
with
me,
Nationals.
it is
You're
between
the Nationals.
Cardinals.
No.
Cardinals.
Oh, I was about to
The
say.
National League.
To me, it's between if the Nationals beat the Brewers, that is going to be a huge series with the Dodgers. 'Cause
Yes.
To me,
Yeah.
Yes,
one
it
of
is,
those two
Chris.
teams are going to.
I agree.
Whoever
World
wins that
Series.
series, right?
Yeah.
And don't count out those Braves either, because they're damn good
I
too.
hate those.
Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzy Albies,
Okay.
Ozzy
I
Albies
get
Freddie
has
Freeman.
the most annoying face in
piece
the
of
world
Swiss cheese.
next to Michael Thomas.
Oh, here we go.
Talk about someone who can make me mad just by giving a look
There
through a
isn't
camera.
going to be a bad series. Like, look at all the. I mean,
No,
maybe
okay, no,
you
all
could
those-
argue whoever comes out of the AL wild card to play the Astros, you could say maybe that won't be as entertaining. But you're looking at the Nats
No,
Dodgers
if it's-
possibility.
If it's the A's, that is going to be entertaining as hell.
Yes, and if it's the Nats coming out, I just don't think the Brewers have enough pitching, and especially without Yelich to beat the Dodgers.
No,
in
not
you
at
know,
all. Not
in
at
a
all.
5-game road.
low lifes.
I just feel like horrible time for that. That did not flow with the conversation at all.
I mean, it's still fun.
It is funny, but again, if the Nats can go out and beat the Brewers and play the Dodgers, just every series, the Yankees Twins will be great. Cardinals Braves will be great. So if you're a fan of baseball,
So with me, I'm going Dodgers in the National League, and American League. I really want to go Twins just because I think that'd be awesome.
Okay,
would be
fine.
awesome.
Let me change it. I said Dodgers and Yankees.
oh, you're really going out on a limb there.
Instead of Nats, Yanks.
Yeah, well, it was agreeing with Max, so it would have been the Cards for the National League and the Yanks, but I think I'll go with Dodgers.
Gotcha.
Now,
Is it
who
just
are the
because
Dodgers
he's a-
beating to get there? Are they beating the Cardinals to get there?
They're beating everybody to get there. Everyone they face, they're going to beat.
Okay.
That's as simple as that.
T?
I had Dodgers, Yankees.
Dodgers, Yanks. All right. Well, hey, Tanner requested me to do something, and I have figured it
Let's
out
hear
after hours and hours of exploration.
Good job.
Our preseason predictions for the winner of the National League East. I'll start with
think I
Max.
said the
You said
Nationals.
Nationals.
You did. Okay.
You said Nationals.
Still made the playoffs, so I'm all
They
right.
did, yeah. The wild card. Tanner, you said
I think I
Nationals.
meant to say the Braves, but I did say Nationals.
You said Nationals. T said Braves.
Doggone right.
And I very naively said Phillies. So laugh at me. Do it. Do it.
I
Better
laugh.
off saying the
But you know
Mets.
what?
They were closer.
You know what?
I laugh at you every day, so that don't matter.
You know what? Like a bunch of episodes later, there I couldn't find it. There was a clip where Max here said we're never losing again when we were 4-0. Yeah, you piece of Swiss cheese. Remember that, guys?
That first game we lost, I believe we walked home the winning run.
Yeah, we
David
did.
Robertson.
That's the whole. Yeah, that's the season in a nutshell.
And there it is. Yep.
Walked in
From then on there.
the Nationals game, right? It was at Nats
Yep.
Park.
We thought we were going to go undefeated.
That's right, gentlemen. Once upon a time, the Phillies were the only undefeated team in 2019. Once upon a time.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
And then Robertson will never come back and play for us again.
Nope.
Because he's out for
What's he
all of
here
next
for?
season with Tommy John surgery. So we have a lot to do this offseason.
This is kind of an idea I just kind of came up with last night. I want to play a little game with you guys.
Well, you're not done with the predictions. Is that the only one that you got?
That was it then.
We didn't do any other league.
okay.
It was just the National League. I think the only other thing we did was like, the Dodgers are going to kill everyone. And
yeah, pretty much.
Well,
And-
but
and you hate-
everybody knew that by like
Yeah.
the first month into the season.
Yeah, and you hate Max Muncy, so yeah.
No, I think he hates Michael Thomas
What game
more.
we playing, Chris?
Okay, it's very simple game. Over under. I'm going to give you a player on the Phillies. I'm going to give you a stat with a benchmark, and you got to tell me if that player went over or under the benchmark.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So first thing, Brad Miller. When it comes to home runs, the benchmark is 10. Did he get over or under
Over.
10 home runs?
I think he got over 10.
Over 10.
Yeah, like
Over
12,
10?
right?
He got 12. All right. Here, stat numero
How many?
2.
What do I get?
Get a crisp high five. All right, Maikel Franco. Benchmark's 45 with
Under.
RBIs.
Oh,
45 RBIs. Do you get over or under 45
Under.
RBIs?
He missed a lot of the season, so I'm going to say under.
Under.
Over. 56 RBIs.
Did he really have 56? Those home runs really come in handy.
He had 56 RBIs. Just behind him, who I would have thought had way more RBIs, Scott Kingery, 55.
Wow.
You're kidding me.
No.
I would have never guessed that.
Crazy, man.
Neither would I.
What have we become?
Here, we're going to stick with RBIs. Andrew Knapp.
Oh, God.
6. Over under's at 6.
Over under. Yeah, we'll go with 6. Over under. What did Andrew Knapp get?
I think
not
I have
putting up
under
with
that.
it.
I think he had
It's too
less than
much
6
clicks.
RBIs.
That'd
too
be
much.
crazy. I'm going with under because I
Under?
hope he's not on the team.
I don't remember him
next
getting
year.
a hit all year.
He had a home run 2
Yeah,
nights
he
ago.
did.
I'm gonna say over. There's no way
Over?
you can do 6.
He's over. He got a grand total of
no
8
way.
RBIs.
Oh my!
Wow.
And he was a catcher all season on the
He's
team.
in the MLB.
He's in the MLB.
I think all 4 of us can hit more than.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
We're going to go back to home runs. Gene Segura. The benchmark is 16 home runs.
less,
Over
Under.
less.
Under.
I think he had
Under.
less than 16.
He got 12.
yep, there we go.
All right. Okay, let me.
These are easy, Chris.
Whatever. Hey, I think I
got
tripped
the
you up
answer
with
now.
a couple of them. Here, on base percentage, Gene Segura, who is one of the best in the league.
So
As
you
far
saying
as
that makes
total?
me not confident.
The benchmark is a .335%. Over.
Yeah,
or
he had
under?
higher than that.
Under,
Over.
just because of the
Under.
weight. Yep.
He had under 335, but he hit like 280 something, didn't he?
Contact.
323.
to me too.
T.
What did he hit in that batting average?
Batting average. Let me
Context.
grab that. 280.
He hit 280, but he was on base
Wow.
was 323, which means he never walked, never got hit by a pitch.
Well,
Oh,
I
he
mean,
got hit by a pitch.
Wow.
In the
No,
head.
no. I'm saying, my point is, he never got a walk or anything sort of like
I mean, we
besides a
talked
hit.
about all year how aggressive he is at the plate.
323 is atrocious,
I know.
especially for a player like that.
I know. The best on the team was Harper, 372.
That's still,
And I know
the
that's
best
not-
on the team is 372.
Yeah.
Yo, we need a new manager in here to teach these guys how to walk.
Agreed.
But I mean, Tia and I were having this conversation, looking at Harper's stats. Aside from his average and his on base percentage,
Yeah.
what else could he
What
do?
was his average? 260.
His
Yeah.
average was yeah,
believe it was-
260.
Is this
Hit
his
around the
second
head.
best season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, as far as RBIs, it's his best.
Okay.
He shattered his record
RBI
last year.
total.
114. He was
Enough said.
12th in the league.
How many home runs do you have? 37.
35.
Let's bring that number up.
35
next season.
bombs and 100 and
14 RBIs. 114.
Let's bring the home run number
I-
up.
and he slugged over 500. So come on.
Yeah.
5'10".
I mean, you want to point at somebody that sucked? Reese Hoskins hit 228 or something like that.
I still want to keep it.
What did he hit?
See,
What did he hit Reese
Reese
Hoskins?
Hoskins. Oh boy.
I'm gonna be honest.
I
with you.
switched to pitching stats. Let me get to the Reese.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
226.
Oh my gosh.
That's our starting first base.
Trade him right now.
Tanner, I'm gonna be Tanner. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hold on to
I was on your side to hold on to Reese.
226 T.
I said was. Now let me finish, dog on it. Now,
All right.
I was on Tanner's side, but I think because we need pitching, you might need to trade him.
Okay.
I mean, Lord. He was just dominant in the first half of the year. And then he forgot how to hit.
I'm sorry, you
All
might
right,
need to trade
Chris,
Reese.
let's play
Hoskins.
this game.
This might be. We're going to the pitching side of things now. We're strikeout total.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right. The player is Hector Neris.
Oh God.
The benchmark is 75.
Less. He had less than that.
Negative.
I'll
Negative
say
strikeouts.
less than that.
Under.
Less than 75.
He's so bad.
Yeah, he sucks.
Had 89 strikeouts.
How many innings did he pitch?
Wow.
Hold on. IPs. The 67.2. So 67 and 2/3.
Wow.
What was his record?
Surprised. I am very surprised.
Hold on. Hector
I'm sorry,
Neris.
we're
He's got a grand total of 3 wins and 6 losses.
Wow.
And like 20 blown saves.
Yes.
Nah, wait. Nah, he didn't have
Nah,
20.
he had 19.
He had
He had
about-
28. He had 28 saves
Oh.
and he had.
I finally got somebody on T's side that agrees with me that Hector Neris stinks.
I think we all agree.
He's our best reliever, but he's not good. That basically sums up our whole bullpen.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that he threw the splitter 728 times this year?
How many blown saves does he have?
I think it's 7 or
I'm trying
to
to find the stupid stat.
We are asking a lot of you, Chris.
I know. This is. You know what? Doesn't matter. Because you know what?
Vargas.
This is a team. Crap.
You know who else had a good season this year? Jose Alvarez, low key.
Jose Alvarez. Hey, we'll go with that one next. The over/under is 70. Did he have for strikeouts? Did he have 70 strikeouts?
Under.
Under.
No, I think he had more than that. He pitched a lot.
Over.
70 strikeouts. You had more. You're going
I'm
over,
more.
over, and under. Under 51.
Jeez, I'm
Oh
just
my
bad at this
goodness.
game. Because that guy doesn't know
Yeah.
what the hell he's doing. Hell, man, he didn't strike enough people out. That's why we missed the playoffs. That's why we missed out.
Last but certainly not least, Vince Velasquez. Same stat, strikeouts. The benchmark is 110.
Oh my goodness.
I'll say over.
Over?
Over.
Under.
He's over 130 strikeouts.
There we go.
And you know what? I was listening back to some old episodes when I was trying to find our predictions. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I feel like he is so much more effective when it comes to him being a long-term, relief pitcher out of the bullpen.
It didn't seem that way when he was in there earlier in the season.
No, I mean,
against
he had a couple good games.
But again, when
don't
he
get me wrong.
first started in there, it was bad.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he had his games, but I think he would be much more effective that way. Just because
I think Pivetta has to go. We tried him everywhere. Tried him in the rotation. Tried him in the bullpen. At this point, just let him go, man.
And at this point, I think you agree with this one too.
Crap ass Vargas.
Yes.
what a great sound.
Vargas could be back next season, so don't disrespect him. No, I'm talking to myself.
I
but
mean-
don't disrespect him.
I was about to say, yeah, because you
He
are
could
talking
be
to
back
yourself.
next year.
I mean,
Yeah, whatever.
He got a
that is such a
option.
sad reality.
Yeah.
I mean, T and I were talking about this again. You got quite a few bats on this team, but is there anyone that you would be willing to look to trade?
Cesar.
Yeah.
That was the first guy in my head. But Cesar, I mean, you would have to put a package together, but him
Yeah.
by himself maybe gets you a 5 guy.
Well,
Yeah, I
this is
agree.
that's not what we need. All right,
need-
I am
we
going
need
to
trade
go out on a
Franco,
limb here
too.
and say Arrieta will bounce back healthy next year, which will be like
What?
a 3 or 4 in the rotation.
Mr. Optimism here.
I say if we could just go out and get like a number 2 or 3, like a Cole Hamels.
A Charlie Morton.
You roll out
You understand what I'm
Nola,
saying to you?
Hamels, Nola, Hamels, Arrieta.
I agree with Hamels, but man,
I think Hamels is starting to fall off the. I think
You
he's
might
starting
be
to
able to
fall
get him on
off.
the
In
cheap.
that last game he pitched?
I mean, sure,
square
yeah,
up.
you could probably definitely get Cole Hamels cheap, but I think that's because he's not 2008 Cole Hamels anymore.
and he's still.
We need 2 starting pitchers. If you want to give Eflin another shot, fine.
Yeah. Can you believe that once upon a time the Phillies had Charlie Morton?
Yeah.
And we got rid of him because he
Tore
was
his hamstring.
injured. Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Wish we had him.
Well, that's just the Phillies look.
I think that's a Philadelphia look. I think you could say with every single team here, we've had guys that we have let go or traded, and then they shine somewhere else.
I agree. All right, let's shut it down.
Now I'm sad. All right, T, do your thing.
All right. If you guys missed any of this episode, you can always go to philly-experience.simplecast.com. You can catch us on all major platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and more. And one more announcement before we get out of here. We were talking about, outside the mic of expanding, and I have taken the first steps. So I have created my own football podcast titled Sideline Sweep Podcast, which is also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. I did not. All right, this is still a part of the whole.
What did we do wrong, T?
Doggone it, this is still a part of the network. Doggone it. This is still a part of this. I will be having special guests soon.
He's a diva. He's going first.
You know what?
I tried treating you like a princess this whole time.
And you know what? I'm sick of y'all.
And you do this with someone else.
You know what? I'm sick of y'all. I am. You know what?
What?
I'm sick of this.
Follow us on
All right. Follow us on
Facebook.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at the Philly EXP1 on Twitter. You can also talk to us on our YouTube page as well. If you want us to talk about something, just let us know. And Chris is messing up the dog on exit.
What are you talking about? Hey, at least it's a full hour this week.
All right, guys.
Wait. Yeah, it's a full hour.
Tune in next week. The Philly. But we should move it on to sports.
You piece of Swiss.
Too strong. Get your weight up.
Crap ass Vargas